Morning. I was saying how everything looks different in the phone than it does in the mirror in reality. Like when you try to take a picture of the moon and it looks like shit, but you look up in the sky, it looks amazing. I was just thinking about relationships, marriages, and what our best examples anybody has is the relationships and marriages we've either been under because our parents were married, obviously, probably, or not, our step parents, and then if we've been married before, and then seeing the marriages of the previous marriages of our spouse and things like that. And so we can only go by experience. There's one thing that's really bothered me since the very beginning. How nobody, like, a relationship seems to work as long as both people become fucking lazy or they ignore each other. They're just like, fine, you could do your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll just live in this unhappy relationship as long as each of us turns a blind eye. Or one person just gives up and they're like, okay, fine, I'll just be the sitting duck and feel like you took my power from me, and then you could boss me around, but you didn't change and I changed for you, and so now we're just gonna plod along like a couple of dead carrots or some shit. Um, and my three marriages, two legal and one was just common law, but there was kids involved and it lasted several years. So, I mean, if there's kids involved, it's a marriage. I mean, you live together, you start raising kids. It's a marriage. You don't get kids involved unless the shit's gonna work out, right? And we got a lot of kids involved. Well, in my first marriage, at the moment where everything was going at the pinnacle, it was at the very best. Then that's when she tore it all down and didn't give any opportunity for any recourse. Called my mother to start the fight, went back against her own word on what she said I was allowed to do. And then once I fixed that on the spot, then, then she had to turn into this other stuff and get the kids involved and listen into it. The one daughter, and then set it up so that she could just twist it to her own favor. That's not a good parent. And then once I left, then ran over to her dope dealer's house and took everything, all the Christmas presents, the marriage license, even my fucking wedding ring. How you gonna run out on a marriage and take the marriage license, the Christmas presents, and the wedding ring? What the fuck? Second one, I'm like, whenever there started to be problems, I'm like, well, why don't we go to counseling? I'm not going to counseling. I see. So you're not actually in a relationship with anybody, not even yourself, huh? You don't want to work it out with me? You don't want to have any witnesses. I see. That's some bullshit. That ain't going to work. Nope. Third one, I was like, okay. Let's do this the right way. I don't remember if it was her suggestion or mine, but because the kids were involved, and I'm fucking a serious person. I don't fuck around with shit unless we're gonna do it. If there's anything, no fucking pulling out. I mean, unless we're holding out on a baby, and we ain't got no condoms and your birth control ain't in effect. Like there ain't no pulling out. We're going forward. Well, so in the third one, whether it was her idea or my idea or we agreed upon it, we're like, okay, fine. So we'll go to church, and I know this pastor, this Baptist church, and we'll go through the marriage counseling part. And we'll do it right. We'll get married in a church and sit on the front steps or at the courthouse, whatever, we'll do it right. Yeah. And that one went the longest sideways, but at the same time has the best relationship to it in the long run because she was afraid of things working out. We go to church, we'd sit there, we'd in private counseling, we'd read all this stuff out, we'd go home, we'd do the homework. Well, no, I'd do the homework. But it was her idea. Then when it came down to it, nah, we're not gonna do it. So what I find is nobody actually wants to commit to anything. Even once the marriage is started, everyone wants to have their one up on the relationship. And that ain't gonna work. In a relationship, there ain't no fucking one up. If there's a one up, we both got that one up. If there's a drag down, we both got to pick that shit up. But people always want to play favor and play the favorites and get everybody else involved and make sure that one person's isolated while they go around and they talk to their girlfriends and they go talk to their parents and they bend the story all in their favor and then change it. While nothing's changed and they're not actually there and it's just a story that they invented on their end all by themselves and brought everybody into it, and the one holding up the whole fucking relationship and willing to do the work is standing right there getting depantsed, getting taken for their chain, and overall getting the house ripped down around them, and then all them bastards that helped tear apart a marriage that didn't have anything to do with the marriage, that have pieces of a story that ain't even true, and they're not in support of anyone or anything. They all just want destruction. They just want good things to fail because they feel insecure about themselves, and they just want something to play with because they're a bunch of narcissists with I can't think of the word. It doesn't matter. Contempt for everybody, especially if anybody's doing good. Contempt. Then they'll just climb up in there and go, oh yeah, oh, I know. Here, I'll help you out. Fuck, they ain't gonna help nobody out. They're all a bunch of fucking snakes. Communication and working together, that's all there is in a relationship. Ain't everybody else, they're outside, they're off of the fucking tree. Trying to climb up on it. And trying to get to that apple. Because they ain't got a fucking bit of knowledge. They ain't got no bark. They ain't got no bite. They ain't got no leaves. They ain't got nothing worth staying for. Because they're not in it. I don't know. This is my rant for today. And this is happening not just in... This is... And so then they think the solution is arranged marriages. I mean, that's how stars get together. Like, we live in fucking old India. Arranged marriage. Yeah, you got to get together with somebody you don't know. You got to learn them from afar, by their persona and shit. And you don't even know the contract and what you're getting yourself into. And in the end, everybody gets bent over and ha 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 because the devil owns it all. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not how it goes. It takes dating. It takes time. It takes getting to know each other one-on-one, day to day, in all these different facets, and to really know and love each other, and willing to support each other, and to willing to take a bullet for each other, kind of thing, and knowing that it'd be better to not take a bullet, to just stick together and fuck everybody else who wants to get in the way. That's all I gotta say right now. Later.